Hi friends! So what we're going to work on today is we're going to work on our picture. So we have a black colored pencil, we have an eraser, and then we need our regular pencil, which has escaped me. Oh, here it is. I just moved it. All right, and a regular pencil. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with drawing the elements in our project that are going to be all one color. So I'm going to start with a regular pencil just to lay down a few important things, and then I'm going to go and start using the black colored pencil. So you do need to have a black colored pencil. You can use a crayon if you have that. If you use black marker, it's fine too. I would prefer you to use a black colored pencil, but I also understand that not everybody has one. So the first thing is you're going to decide where you want your horizon line. Your horizon line can be in the middle, it can be up a little bit higher, or it can be down a little farther. Just remember, if you have it in the middle, you should have about equal parts of ground to sky. If you have it up to the top, you're going to have more ground, so that means you're going to have to draw more foliage or natural things down here, and then less sky up here. Or if you put it down here, you have less things to draw, but then you'll have a lot more sky, and you just kind of have to figure out the balance of your picture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do mine in the middle, because that's generally where you want it, but it doesn't have to be. Now, I don't do a perfectly straight line because this is ground, and ground isn't necessarily perfectly straight across. Sometimes it appears to be, but I feel it looks a little bit more natural when you don't do that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in the Uluru mountain itself. I'm not going to do anything else with it other than just put it in where I think it should go. So you can have it off to the side, you can have that in the middle, you can have it over here, you can draw it kind of cut off, however you want to do it. It just needs to be included. So I'm going to draw mine over here because I was like putting it kind of off to the side. And Uluru is kind of this weird kind of mountain that looks like that. So I'm just going to draw just the basic outline, and I'm not drawing it very dark, okay, because there's going to be some erasing and some other stuff that I'm going to do around that. So the next couple things you're going to do is you're going to draw some trees or some short little bushes and that sort of thing. But we do need to keep in mind our space, because we talked about middle ground, background, and foreground. So I'm going to switch over to my colored pencil now. I'm going to trace over my horizon line as best I can. Okay. I'm not going to trace over this yet because I'm not going to worry about that quite yet. I just need to know where it is. Now over here, I'm going to draw a tree. You can follow along with this tree, or you can just decide you don't want to do it at all. I start down at the sides of the tree and I go up, and I still draw really lightly with my colored pencil. And we're going to color it in a little bit, so you're not going to be able to see it. So I just kind of do this weird organic shape that looks like the side of a tree to me. And I'm going to bring it out here just a little bit so that we can draw some roots to our tree. Now, the trees in Australia are very similar to the trees we have here. So I'm just going to make this really, really skinny branch. Okay, I'm going to come up and I'm just going to like be extra with the branch designs about how it's, you know, they're not straight, they're kind of more fluid, and they look a little bit better when you do that. They look more natural. And I'm only going to do about, that one was a little bit more seaweed than I was looking for, but they're going to be very organic looking, because, well, that's what it is. And then I'm just going to do about 5. You can always make adjustments as you go. And then I'm going to do the same thing along the side here. And bring the roots out to here. I'm not going to make the roots look very deep. Come in a little bit here and there. Just give it a little bit more depth. And then with the tree, you're going to do kind of like what we did with the raccoon picture. If you drew the raccoon, then you're familiar with this process. You go through and you make some short vertical lines, and that's going to create texture. As you can see, I'm just overlapping some vertical lines, and that's going to create the bark, the very rough textured bark that is on the trees that are in Arizona, or not Arizona, Australia. And that carries down and through the roots. Okay. So I'm just going to make it a little bit darker. You're going to keep going the same direction with it because you don't want it to be too you don't want to make it look like it's colored in. You want to give it that texture. So as you can see, it kind of has a textured effect. And it's not perfect, and I'm not looking for perfect. Now up here, you can draw another little tree that's really, really tiny, really far away. Okay, so that we're understanding that's closer to the background, so it's far away. You can draw one that's in the middle. As you can see, I'm not paying as much attention to the detail on this tree as, say, I did on the first one. I'm still trying to draw the bark the same way. Those are a little bit long. If you draw lightly with colored pencil, you can erase it, in case you didn't know that. And see, I'm not paying really good attention to making it look particularly, you know, heavily detailed, because we want this one to have more detail. So as I drew some detail on there, we need to go and add some detail here. So we would draw some more branches and do the same kind of shading effect to the branches where we gave it some texture. You can see how that's coming together as you're working. Now, other things to add. Little bushes. Make sure if you drew, they are kind of big, and they have these little spindlies on them. These are like spiky plants. You're familiar with spiky plants. They kind of look like aloe plants, only they're much less friendly, much more spiky. You can add little details in them. And then, you know, draw some smaller ones back here. You can draw some tiny ones up front to get the idea. And then, you know, draw some more medium-sized ones. I think I need another one over here that's kind of a medium size. Another really good thing is to draw some waves. Now, the way that sand looks, it's a very deserty landscape, is it will have ripples in it. So just very, very lightly draw some what looks like wavy lines. Because if you've ever been to the beach, then you know that sand kind of has like ripples in it. And long waves, don't like draw actual like ocean waves. And then add as much detail as you want. I'm going to stop there for today, but add as much detail as you want or you think you might need. And then tomorrow we will finish adding more details and we'll color that part in. Do not color anything else in. We're only coloring in this because we're creating emphasis. Okay? All right, guys, I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day.